There is so much free wisdom and information out there, especially if you talk to other people. And I'm a true believer that almost every single person you meet, no matter who they are, what they've done, can teach you something, can teach you some sort of lesson. Even the smartest person or even the dumbest person can teach you something great, you know? So it's almost like if you really want to be like a true learner throughout your life, you can almost kind of learn something from everybody by asking them, you know, how do they feel about this? Having them tell you their stories, having them, you know, their input on maybe there's a situation that you're going through. Just ask them for their input, you know. Ask your family members, ask your friends, ask strangers, coworkers, right? And there's so many topics that you could go over. I mean, it's really like infinite topics that you could talk about with someone. But I guess what I'm trying to boil it down to in this video is that you can, you know, everyone has a little bit of wisdom, no matter how old you are, young. I've met some kids, dude, that are wise as hell. Kids, you ever notice that like kids and stuff, little kids, sometimes they'll just say some crazy wise stuff. They'll say some shit that you're like, damn, man, that's some real shit, you know? Because they ain't got no filter. But, you know, as we get older, we have filters and like the things we say things a certain way. We don't say things directly to people. We sugarcoat everything. And that's where certain types of wisdom come in, by talking to different types of people, because their perspective is so different, you know? And they can really, and that's like reframing life, reframing good things and bad things is such a powerful skill to have. Looking at a bad situation and reframing it into a good one, you know? Like something bad could happen to you, but just using the power of your mind and the power of others, you can change that negative situation to something positive, right? It could have been a learning experience. It could have been something worse, right? It's almost like what happened recently where my best friend had betrayed me. I feel like that's a bad situation. I feel like that is a bad situation, right? I feel this void inside me because my best friend is gone. But he was doing some snake shit. So the bad part of the situation is like, oh, you lose your best friend, someone betrayed you. The good part is that the universe revealed, you know, someone who's being treacherous, right? Someone who's hiding a secret from you, you know? So I can look at it positive, like, okay, he was exposed, you know? This guy was exposed for the true person that he was. Instead of being caught up on the past and being upset that, you know, my best friend did fuck me over or was doing some creep shit in the background. Yeah, and reframing is this is something you learn in sales, right? Reframing is something you learn in sales also, where, you know, you're selling a car, and a lot of the times people will object. They'll say, well, you know, I want this car, but I don't want to go into debt. But a good salesman will reframe it and they'll say, hey, well, you know, I don't want to go into debt either, but like all things in life, you know, we have good and bad debt, right? You know, bad debt, that's like me going to the mall, racking up my credit card, wearing Gucci belts, you know, buying all these new clothes that I don't really need. Whereas a good debt, you know, it could be a reliable vehicle so I can get to work, so I can actually make more money, right? So it's kind of an investment when you really think about it. You're not actually going to a debt. It's an investment. So that's like a really good reframing tool right there. That's something I learned from sales. And you can do the same thing with your situations and asking people. People will give you that reframe. People will give you that different perspective. You know, if you're in a toxic relationship, for example, that is, talk to other people. They will tell you what's straight up. They'll say, you could be in a toxic relationship where you don't even know that it's toxic. You don't even know that it's something fucking your life up, right? That you're being fucked over. But when you tell someone what's going on in your relationship, they're gonna see it loud and clear, right? They're gonna see loud and clear that this is not a healthy relationship. That this is not something that you should be in. That you're getting an unfair deal, that you're getting treated unfairly. And if you don't ask anyone, you're not gonna find out. You're not gonna get any real feedback. Because your judgment is always gonna be clouded by you being in love with that person, or seeing a future with that person, or just that person in general, just throwing out all sorts of smoke screens and bullshit. So yeah, every person you meet, guys, learn something from them. Be a sponge. Be a knowledge sponge. Be someone who can learn something every day. And be someone who is willing to learn, someone that's open to learning, because most people stop learning after high school and college. You'll notice that most of society is not really, they don't really care to study. They don't really care to learn more skills other than hobbies, right? Or just learning things from just being exposed to them. But you should seek knowledge, and especially if you're in a dark place in your life, learning and knowledge is something that you can do even if you're broke, if you're poor. And it's the one thing that you'll have with you for the rest of your life. Nobody can take your knowledge. Nobody can take what you've learned. Only you can keep that information. And no government can take it from you. No one can erase your mind. You'll always have that. If you lose everything, you'll always have that. Okay? Like and subscribe. Leave a comment, guys. Book a coaching link down below. And enjoy the rest of your day.